Think back. When's the last time you truly made a decision? Was it really you deciding, or was it something else influencing your choice? Today, we're talking about something called algorithmic governance. This refers to technologies around us, algorithms that influence our decisions and shape our everyday lives. Algorithms aren't just running apps, they're integrated into how governments operate, businesses function, and even how we interact with our friends online. But remember, algorithms aren't neutral. They were built by people, which means they can carry biases and power dynamics that we need to keep an eye on. A sociologist named Rona Tass points out that predictive algorithms are starting to replace human judgment everywhere in healthcare, finance, and beyond. They basically predict your future actions by studying your past, and this is called choice projection. While humans can indeed be somewhat predictable, it's crucial to consider the implications of handing over so much decision making power to these systems. This isn't totally new. Back in the 19th century, Frederick Taylor introduced the idea of scientific management, known as Taylorism. He used efficiency principles to speed up work processes. Think of this as the precursor to the assembly line. Back then, workplaces had a clear hierarchy. Foremen supervised workers. Today, algorithms act like that kind of foreman, rating and ranking people, monitoring performance quietly in the background. If you ever called an Uber, you know that every time you rate a driver, you're essentially acting as a digital foreman. These ratings influence whether the driver gets future rides or even keeps their job. And this is algorithmic governance at work. And there are many examples of these algorithms that work in our day to day lives, one of these being credit scores. These algorithms predict your financial reliability by examining your past behavior. These predictions influence whether you get approved for loans, the interest rates you receive, job offers, and even housing options. Unfortunately, this system can reinforce inequalities if your financial history is impacted by biases or inequalities. Social media feeds are another example of powerful ways that remove choice in a way called choice obviation. Choice obviating refers to when choices are removed and constricted to a subset, and users are forced to make a decision, and most of the time, users don't even realize that they're in this system. They decide what posts you see based on what you've previously interacted with, and this shapes your political views, opinions, and even your identity. These platforms create echo chambers where you mostly encounter ideas that reinforce what you already have. When was the last time you actually watched a video you searched for? Also, was it really you that made that previous decision? Did you really mean to click on the red notification bell when you knew that it would just be the same notification you've been getting for the last 10 days? Think about why social media like TikTok and Instagram have this infinite scrolling mechanism that basically replicates how a gambling slot machine works. Advertisements are also another way algorithms are used to predict who you are and what you might buy. Think about this: 90% of people never click past the first page of search results. Who decides what's on that page? An algorithm. These systems know your habits, locations, and preferences. Could this personal data someday be used against you? Take a look at my Google Photos account. While it seems straightforward, it knows every place I've been to at every date and time. Shoshana Zuboff, another sociologist, calls this phenomenon surveillance capitalism. Companies now collect massive amounts of personal data to predict and influence behavior, commodifying our everyday experiences for profit. The more predictable we become, the easier it is for companies to market and sell this data to other companies, pushing us to align our actions with algorithmic expectations. And there are many critiques that are associated with the use of predictive algorithms in our day to day lives. Bias in algorithms, where algorithms learn from historical data, is a major issue. May be related to gender, race, or class. For instance, hiring algorithms might unintentionally discriminate against women or minorities because they rely on past hiring patterns of the previous century. Ethical considerations also need to be taken into account. We need to question the ethics behind letting algorithms make significant decisions that impact people's livelihoods and well being. If an algorithm merely projects past data into the future, does it really consider the complexity and humanity of individuals with families, communities, and real world responsibilities? So, the next time you feel like you're making a choice, take a second to consider who or what is really behind it. Recognizing algorithmic governance and questioning its role in our lives isn't just important, it's essential to keep our agency in what sociologists are now calling a post choice society.